You'll need this, right? Hello and welcome to the Halloween Extravaganza 2. Tonight we are joined by Robert Rigihi. Ricky, is it Ricky?
Sorry. That's correct, Ricky. Yes.
Ricky, sorry, Robert. I forgot it already there. So tonight, yeah, we're joined by Robert, and Robert's a clinical social worker, also a forensic psychologist, and also a psychic medium. We'll be talking to Robert about the subjects of Ted Bundy, also past life regression. So to start off there, Robert, first of all, just to introduce yourself there and know more about you there, can you tell us more about your spiritual pathway that's led you into vocations that you are in today?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anthony, for having me on. I appreciate that so much. And good evening to all my Irish friends in Ireland, as well as all over the world. Thank you so very, very much. This is my first time being on air with an Irishman, so thank you so very, very much. I've been to Ireland many times, got drunk many a time in a pub. I even got to know the Irish national anthem, because they always played, or they did years ago when the bar closed. Do they still play the anthem?
No. I remember back in the 80s and the 90s they did it there, but not. Well, we're lucky to have a bar open at the moment. But
I see. Okay. But anyhow, so I've been to the Emerald Isle, as they say, many, many times. I've always enjoyed myself. I really did. I really have, and I plan to come back very, very soon. And anyhow, so thank you very much. About myself, I am a psychic medium. I have a master's degree in forensic psychology and clinical social work from the University of Florida. Everybody knows where Florida is. Anyhow, but my first experience was in the paranormal field. I was 4 years old, and stronger and stronger over the years. Somebody always asks me, what was your first apparition? Well, I remember, so I was born in 54. I was 58 when this happened. I woke up during the night. It was the 3 o'clock hour. Hell, at 4 years old, back in 1958, I had no idea what the 3 o'clock hour was. I had no idea. I just had to go pee. I had to go to the bathroom. Anyhow, so I went to the bathroom, and then I knocked on my parents' door. My parents thought I was sick, being up. And so they said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I saw an apparition." They said, "What?" They said, "Who did you see?" And my father was born in Italy. My mom was born in Spain. So that entire spirituality, right? Anyhow, saw Abraham Lincoln. Oh, they laughed. Oh, they laughed. But Abe smiled at me and he nodded just like this. That was an indication to me later on that there was something special about me. Not better or worse than anyone else, something special. I had no idea what that was. I was 4 years old. I climbed into bed with my parents. Then that morning, my Spanish mother took me to my Italian grandmother, Nona, and took me to a white witch. I had no idea which was from a dark witch. Anyhow, I saw this woman. She looked like she was 1,500 years old. She looked like the first Queen Elizabeth. She was ugly as a mud fence, but she was such a sweetheart. But this lady, she had all gray hair and whatever. Anyhow, her hand on my head, and I could feel her energy. oh my God, Jake. Okay. And I remember this, and this very moment, I'm right back there in 1958, 4 years old. When she put her hand on my head, she could also feel my energy.
Mm.
She grabbed my tubby Italian Spanish cheeks and she just shook them. She gave me a kiss on each side like Europeans do. And she said in Italian to my Nona that I am very gifted.
Oh,
Whatever that means. Okay, so being Italian, Spanish, my Catholicism, my spirituality is based on my Roman Catholicism. I don't want to convert anyone to anything. I don't care what they are. I don't care if they're Buddhist, whatever. It doesn't matter. But my spirituality. Okay. Anyhow, I went to a Catholic school all of my life except for college, and my mom would never say anything to the sisters about seeing spirit. I was seeing my paranormal brothers and sisters who are watching this, listening to this. I saw spirits out the window. I saw them in the classroom. I saw them everywhere. Hell, I was even in the bathroom and saw spirits. What the hell? What am I going to do? You know, you can't even use the privy privately, and there's a spirit. What do you do? Anyhow, I got you. And so anyhow, I did accidentally say one time to a nun that she goes, Robert, what's wrong? What do you, why you whatever, fidgety? And I said, sister, there's spirits out there waving at me. She came at me like a bull in a china shop. Oh my God, I felt myself right on the floor. She goes, you never lie like that again. Never. And so I was really, really hurt. Well, physically, yeah, my God, I had a big old handprint from this 900-pound nun. Anyhow, so and a lot of levity in what I'm going to be saying too, because of talking about Ted Bundy and those types of things. It's very, very dark. Okay, so I love having fun. Fun is just me, Anyhow, so my parents again told me, please don't say anything. Also, they could have taken me. Authorities could have taken me away from my parents during that time. Also, and during the 60s in America, it was social upheaval. There was gay right, there was the civil rights movement, women's rights. There was the Vietnam War. Yeah, it was a hot mess during that time. Also, they were testing atomic bombs in the part of the United States, and so it was just upheaval. Vatican II came. That threw a wrench too into a Catholic church all over the world, especially American. But anyhow, so I learned how to stop it, which isn't good. And so that's why my brothers and sisters who are listening to this, that's why I mentor 15 children of the paranormal, because I know how it is to stop it. I started to act out. When you're that age, who can you talk to? You're supposed to be able to talk to your friend. I wasn't, because what was interesting to me and what I was experiencing, they had no idea. You know what I mean? So I felt very isolated. So I knew later on that if I could help children, especially in the paranormal field, I would do so. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. Anyhow, I learned how to turn it on and off. And how I learned it, one day in reading, that sister said, okay, open your book. Okay, we opened our book, we began to read. And in my mind, it's like, oh my God, I can open my mind to the spirit world. And then at the end of the class, what does she say to any teacher says that, okay, it's time to close your book, we're done, okay? How I learned as a child to turn it on and off. It took me a while, but I learned to do that. And so now instructing these children of the paranormal, that's how I teach them and instruct them to turn it on and turn it off. I don't have to use a book now. I mean, use a book now. My God, I've been doing it for 2,000 years. But anyhow,
what is a book?
Back then, 2,000 years ago, I think I must have opened some parchment paper or something. I don't know. And so I know now how to turn it on and off. And I have two angels that help me. So the spirituality part of me is based on my Roman Catholicism. I am not overly religious, but I'm very spiritual. Do I pray? Of course I do. Do I believe in God? Of course I do. Do I believe in the devil? Of course I do. You know what I mean? So, right, and everyone is on a spiritual journey. We're on a spiritual journey. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, Protestant, Anglican, Episcopalian, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, doesn't matter. We're all on a spiritual journey. Okay. We all fall short all the time. I am no saint. Oh my God, please. Oh, I don't want to go into it. But anyhow, that was way back when, you know what I mean? During the disco years, you know. So, but anyhow, that's another time, another story. But anyhow, but my progression within the paranormal field just got stronger and stronger and stronger over all these years. And God has opened a lot of doors for me. You know, my first podcast was, 7 years ago. It was with a gentleman. His name is Leo Bonomo. Do you know Leo? Leo is from the Leo Bonomo?
No, probably not. No, that is.
Okay. Anyhow, he reached out to me, and I was on his program several times. Okay. And then I took like a hiatus away from the podcasting and all that stuff. I thought, you know what? I have other things that I need to do. You know what I mean? You know, because for me, God created me to help our brothers and sisters in need. That's why I travel all over the United States in homeless shelters. That's why I'm out here in New Mexico in homeless shelters. I do that all over. But anyhow, so my progression within the paranormal field just got stronger and stronger and stronger. Did people talk to me? Yes. Do I see them? The psychic part of me, if I can go into that now, if that's okay.
Yeah,
the psychic part of me sees pieces of puzzle. Okay, they see pieces of puzzle. And right now I see your name. I see it like on an alphabet block, right? I know that you're talking to me. I know you're a male because I know that you're a male, for God's sake. If you were a female or whatever, anyhow, you would have lace on lace, you know. Somebody asked me, well, Robert, what happens if a gay spirit comes to you, and if they're male, and if they're gay, and if they're dead, will they have lace on them? I said, no. I said, well, as far as I know, it's never happened to me. But anyhow, so I see the puzzle. I have to put these pieces of the puzzle together. And my friend, our normal brothers and sisters, sometimes in our lives, things are just so damn obvious we can't see them, right? So I have to help me. These angels are little baby. That's another story. Her name is Mary Angeline. She was only 4 hours old when God called her home. Anyhow, and so she helps me. She'll tug at my socks and she'll pat me on the cheek. And sometimes if I can't get it, she will laugh in my ear. And that's an indication to me that she's saying, Robert, are you that damn dumb? Can't you see it in front of you? Together, come on, you've been doing this for 1,000 years, you know.
So I'm just gonna probably touch on as well, probably like you do exorcisms there as well. You've been involved in exorcisms there. Is that true?
Yes, I have been involved in 2 exorcisms that were sanctioned by the Arch-Catholic Diocese of Chicago, and that's a story too. One of them was with a male, another one was with a female. The female, her backstory, just briefly, is that she was raised in a satanic cult. She was raped starting at the age of 6. By a child, her family got this doctor to come in, had an abortion right in her home. She got pregnant again when she was 15. Another abortionist came inside the home, and she had an abortion. She was suffering terribly from schizophrenia, horribly. That's a whole nother story. But bottom line with Vivian is that I had to integrate, along with another psychiatrist, that we had to integrate her personalities together, except for the one that was possessed. The one that was possessed, we had to keep separate. And that's a whole different story too.
That's an interesting topic there, because it's going back to personality. Who you actually trying to connect with there, and so how do you discern which one from the other there as well? And we will come back to you there talking about the subject of exorcism, because we've got to have a show next season there dedicated and have you more on. But I suppose the next subject that I suppose to go on to is Ted Bundy. Now, I suppose some people is well known around the world there. Some people might not know him, but can you tell those that don't know who is Ted Bundy?
Okay, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is a dichotomy of a lot of things. A lot of. Was he evil? Yes. And what I'm going to say is, I am not glorifying what the son of a bitch did to these women. Not at all. I want these women's stories to be told. I'm not justifying anything what he did. What he did was completely wrong. It was truly wrong. But knowing and talking with him that everything happened in a chronological order. If one thing would have messed up or not happened, we wouldn't be talking about him today. Not at all. Okay. And so let me go back to the backstory briefly about Ted Bundy. When I was at the University of Florida, and I graduated in 1980, started in 73. I took 2 extra years because I wanted more knowledge about the human body. So I took anatomy and physiology. Okay. So I took 2 extra years. And so I went to my director of the psychology department and asked him, and he knew that I was a psychic medium. He had taken me to different places and such. And so I said, I would like to write to Ted Bundy, to his lawyer, and to the state warden, which is only 50 miles up the road north of Gainesville, where the University of Florida is. And he goes, go ahead. And so I wrote to three of the guys. And so anyhow, 2 weeks later, I got a reply. Right. I have a letter at home in Illinois. That's where I'm from, Prairie, Illinois. That's where the letter is today from Ted and from the lawyer, as well as from the state warden, and giving me permission and 4 other psychologists to come and interview him. The only stipulation that Ted had and his lawyer was that we could not take notes, and we could videotape anything.
You couldn't videotape.
Yeah, no video, nothing. Okay. Also, what we wanted to do is that we wanted female psychologists there too. Okay. One of them was dressed in a real tight sweater, and she was very bodacious, as they say. She was real busty. I mean, no disrespect to women at all, but that's how God made some women. You know what I mean? Anyhow, she was in a very, very tight sweater. Another psychologist was in a very nice work suit, very, very appropriate, very pretty, very nice. They were all very beautiful women. The other one was in gym clothes. She came in wearing a sweatshirt and gym pants and whatever, right? Then being the 80s, what did we dress like? We dressed like Miami Vice. We had the khakis, we had the pastels, the
mullets.
And we had boat shoes, as they say, dockers and whatever. Anyhow, so the day came, and we sat in a room with him, with no bar, no shield, nothing. I was like sitting at the table, having a cup of tea or having a pint with you, right? We were 5 feet apart from each other.
Right.
He was shackled, of course, arms, everything was shackled. There was 3 security guards with him. Being the psychic medium, I felt this. The room changed completely when he walked in. When I looked at his eyes, they were dark, very dark. There was nothing behind them. Everything. But the other psychologists didn't see that. When he looked at them, they looked totally, and his affect changed. His facial expression changed talking with them. Right. But let me tell you, he was evil, and he is evil incarnate. If anyone was possessed, it was him. I could go into a lot more detail, but we'll save that for
we'll save that for another day. But did he show any signs of remorse to you there? Well,
no. No. He had no idea. He had no idea how to spell the damn word, I'm sure, because he had no remorse whatsoever. Also, I was one of the 42 people that were there to see his execution.
Okay, right.
I wrote to him, and I asked if I could be there, and he said yes. And it's very chilling when he looked at us and said, I'm not going to say it now, what he said, his last words were, okay, we'll say, again, I'm not glorifying what the son of a bitch did. The stories of these women need to be told. Now, he did murder and rape. And again, this rape did not happen while they were alive. Afterwards. Because he could not get an erection while they were alive. Only when they did kill, he did murder a 12-year-old girl. I mean, any death is horrible, but for a 12-year-old innocent girl, okay?
Yeah.
He went to university in Seattle area because he's from the East Coast. He moved to the West Coast with his mother. That's a whole nother story of who his mother is and everything like that. And his father, who is his father? Is his father his uncle? Is his father his grandfather?
Yeah.
Find out who is. But anyhow, so he went to university up there. He had a degree, a bachelor's degree in psychology. And I asked him about that. I said, Ted, and he goes, you son of a bitch, you call me Mr. Bundy. He said, only the bitches over there can call me Ted.
Yeah, I was going to ask you there, did he have any spiritual connection before? Did he have any enlightenment before he did the execution? Or
can I wait to say?
Yeah, I can wait to say. Well, we'll keep you up, keep the people watching there for next.
I'll tell you that what I saw in that execution room is different than what other people saw, because I talked about it.
Yeah,
they did not see what I saw.
Yeah. And I was gonna ask you there, because we've gone on to the next subject there. Before we move on there, how do you feel now? Like you're probably days and how did you feel days, months, even years? Now even talking about it now, to me.
For a long time after that, folks, let me tell you, I've been keeping a journal since I was in high school of everything I've done. I have 50 plus years of things that I've done, things that I've experienced, my education, everything. Okay. And one day I will write a book. I don't know when, but maybe one day. But anyhow, I never thought about him after it happened, really. I mean, we talked as a psychologist and I talked and everything like that, but that's it. Two of the psychologists left the field, two of the women left the field and now are ministers. And they are Protestant ministers helping women who are being abused and also trafficked also, okay?
Okay.
And I haven't really talked about it. I think this year probably was really the first times I really started to talk about Ted Bundy openly. I wanted to, that was in the past. I didn't think people would care at that time, you know what I mean? But now people are just, they love that. They want to hear more and more and more. They love the gore. They love the sex. They love all that. But the bottom line is that these women were tortured emotionally and physically by the son of a bitch. And I'm not glorifying what he did at all. But the women need to be told. Also, before I move on, that there is a connection of one of the young women to me and my family in Illinois. She lived down the road from where I was raised. I only saw her 3 times because I was in grade school and she was in high school. So, so I didn't see it that much. But anyhow, I knew of her. Yeah. So there's that also. But let me tell you that people will be surprised what he got into, and also will be surprised who his mentor is, okay? Now, also at the time when he was on his killing spree in the Pacific Northwest, which is like Seattle, Washington, Northern California, places like that, right? There was someone called the Green River serial killer. Have you ever heard of the Green River serial killer?
No, I was reading a bit about Bundy there, about his family life and all that, but there was some connections that they might have had elsewhere.
Right. So, okay, folks, listen, do me a favor. Do some history. Go back, Google the Green River serial killer, United States, and read about him. And I will tell you what the connection is between him and Ted Bundy.
Okay. And we'll probably come back to that on another time there as well. And it is interesting though, because it's been, I think it's sort of being glorified at the moment there. I know there's been TV shows recently about Ted Bundy and all that. And it's
and always remember, folks, what you see is probably 75% theatrics and whatever, right? He was a very nasty person. He was a bad person. Yes, he was. But on the other hand, he's a human being also. And I'm not justifying it again. I'm not. But knowing his back history of how he was raised, and a lot of betrayal, and what he got into, led him into a lot of things. And these things have hardly ever been discussed because he was very open. He was very open to me. And I sensed it too. And I told him, and I said, you can't lie to me because I can see through you. And he looked at me and his eyes are so dark, so black. And it goes, I know who you are and I know what you do. If you would have been younger during the time I was murdering all these bitches, you would have caught me.
All right. And we'll go on to the next subject with that as well there. So we'll leave it at that because it's fascinating now. We'll touch back on it there next year as well. So next subject is past life regression there.
Yeah.
Rob,
okay.
So can you tell us a bit about what it is, past life regression?
There was a psychiatrist. He's still alive, Dr. Brian Weiss. Very man. Oh my God. And I had my private practice as well as I was a criminal profiler for the state of Florida. And I worked with a psychiatrist. She was from Jamaica, so she had that Jamaican spirituality and everything. It was wonderful. And she taught me about past life regression, and she used it in her own, in our practice with some folks. And I said, she goes, Robert, you need to be regressed. I said, oh, thank God, please regress me back to the time of Queen Elizabeth or whoever it was. You know what I mean? And truthfully, I never liked Queen Elizabeth I. I thought she was an ugly bitch, really, and she was hateful. Oh my God, anybody to kill beautiful Mary Queen of Scots? Oh my God, please. And you don't want to get started about that. But anyhow, and I don't mean any disrespect to my British friends who may be watching this. So I mean no disrespect. Or maybe they don't like her either. Hell, I don't know. But anyhow, and so she regressed me. But that, she said, Robert, she said, when you do something or when you smell something or when you're watching a movie or whatever, does it take you back there? Do you feel very comfortable? I said, yeah. When I was a small child, being Italian and Spanish, we went to Italy often, or when we could afford it. And going to Rome in the catacombs, oh my God, that's another story in itself, what I experienced. Wow. But going into the Colosseum, and I'm with my friends in my mind. Psychically, I see myself there. The gladiators, of course, I'm gay, so the gladiators were just hot as hell. Whoa, they were smoked. They were smoked. Anyhow, I'm sorry for making fun of a light of this.
You're okay. It's good.
Thank you for being patient with me. Appreciate that. Thank you. And now where am I at? Oh yeah, that's right. The Coliseum. But it's a life of debauchery. All these hot gladiators waiting on me hand and foot, and oh God help me. Santa Maria de Dios. Oh my God, I was horrible. But so were my friends, and they were we were all wealthy, senator sons and doing what we wanted to do and such like that. And there were old time Roman movies, which I love. I love the old time Roman movies and stuff like that. Anyhow, I saw myself when I went to the Colosseum. I felt very comfortable. I felt very at home there. I felt very at home. In fact, there was a couple of times where I really got into that mode of being a senator's son. I wanted people to wait on me. It was like, what the hell, Robert? You've never treated people like that. You know what I mean? It was horrible. And I apologized to these folks because it wasn't really me.
Mm.
But anyhow, then that was one of my lives. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, I never learned the lesson of that damn thing because I had to come back again. Ugh.
Oh.
So anyhow, so the other life I led was I was a Franciscan monk in
Right.
Germany. Now,
Okay.
during the fall, like it is now, autumn in the United States, especially this part, which is in the southwestern part up in the mountains, it's beautiful.
Mm.
Anyhow, when I step on a twig or go through the leaves, like right now I'm doing that, walking, and it's nice and cool like it is now. I see myself walking as a Franciscan monk going by an old castle in Germany. And I'm there right now. I'm there right now. Okay. That was one of my lives. So I went from the life of debauchery and all that crap to a life of austerity.
Right. Okay. Total opposite then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one life. Okay. Then let's go back to let's get up to the 1800s. Thank God. And so anyhow, there was a show called Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
well, could you imagine me being a farmer out there? Oh my God, breaking a nail, getting dirty. What the hell? You know, I can't stand spice as it is. My God, I cannot see myself in that era, but I was because I really honed in on that. And where am I at today? I'm in the western part of the United States. I traveled the same way the pioneers did, and I felt very comfortable. So I lived during that time.
Right.
I lived at this time being a oh, I'm sorry, my friend's dogs, but anyhow, being Italian, I was a mafia. Oh my God. You know, I love the mafia anyhow, you know. And by the way, the mafia still lives. They really do. There's even a mafia, for God's sake. Could you imagine?
Yeah, there's loads of different mafias there. But is it safe for people to like? So is you go through hypnosis? Is it that be the process? Would it be?
Yes. Anyhow, not okay. Okay, and okay. So I'll get serious. There is, and what happens is that you are put under hypnosis, and a lot of people are scared because they think they're going to end up sounding like a chicken or barking like a dog later. But that doesn't happen. Only. You know.
No.
But anyhow, yeah, and so I learned how to use hypnosis in my therapy. And so Denise, the psychiatrist, taught me how to do that. And the person who would come to me, who would I think that would need past life regression, are folks that are very, very severely depressed, knowing why they're depressed. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, those people who suffer from anxiety, terrible anxiety, horrible panic attacks. And so I've used that in five different cases. And again, you know, again, it is a process. It takes one time. And I've told people, this is what we're going to do. And of course, they have to sign release forms and whatever, right? And I tell them that if your insurance runs out, don't worry about it. I'm not going to charge you a dime because it is a process. Well, there has to be trust between the therapist and the client. We have to build trust. You just can't come in and say, okay, listen, you're so damn depressed. I'm going to regress you back to wherever. Okay? You can't do that.
No. So it's like a process. So it's like a process then. So like as well, could people the reason why people are being depressed now is because of a previous life, something that happened in the previous life?
Yes, a lot of times what we experience today hits on our past history of who we are today and what we're going through. And I live somewhat of an austere life now. I don't have much material things at all. It doesn't mean anything, right? Not at all. But at one time it did. Before I understood my past life, yes, material things. I had every toy in the book. I did. I was making buku bucks doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I live a very austere life and understand that material things are just material things. Okay. So people have to, they have to have trust in me that they're not going to like bark like a dog and anything like that later on, you know. But anyhow, they, but so I've used this therapy on five different folks, and these are doing wonderfully now because they understood what happened in the past. One of the causes of them being severely depressed.
And yourself there, you said like before, and before the show there, that you've had these lives there. Are you going to have a life in the future, or is there ways of stopping yourself having a future life?
Who would want another life in the future if this could be the last one? Okay. I would not want to come back. When am I going to come back? As a seal or as like a whale or whatever, you know, or maybe like one of the, what are those people called? I don't know. But anyhow, do you know those people that dress up in those kind of weird beef something, like from England? What are they called?
Oh, beef eaters. Beef eaters.
Yeah. Well, I'm a vegetarian. I don't want to be a damn beef eater, for God's sake.
I know. We all due a rest at some stage. I know you're talking about you need a rest. I feel the same as well. I would want to leave.
So I wouldn't want to come back. No. And I explained to these people that who come in very lovingly, they have to agree to it. And if they don't, God bless them. Really, God bless them. And then I will refer them to someone else that could possibly help them. Okay. And I'm a very compassionate compared to what I was when I was a senator's son. Oh my God. I am Mother Teresa without a wig, without a veil. I love our brothers and sisters. And that's why I volunteer all over the world, I did have all over the world. And, but anyhow, it's very important to me. So past life regression, and my friends who are listening to this, we have to learn the lesson in life, whatever that lesson is. Okay. Also, we need to clean up the baggage that is around us that we have stuffed for 1,000 years. All of us have been betrayed. All of us have been lied to. All of us have been abused, domestic violence, maybe sexual abuse as a child or even as an adult. The closure with that stuff. But the two things that are important with all of this is that we have to love ourselves before we can truly love else. And we also need to forgive ourselves. Those are the two hardest damn things to do in life, is to love ourselves unconditionally and forgive ourselves. We can be our own best friend, and we can also be our own worst enemy. There's no one who can hate us more than ourselves. No one can love us more than ourselves. I love myself more today than I did yesterday and the day before. I know it sounds like a cliche, and don't worry, I'm not going to romp around in some like daisy field or whatever. But anyhow, it's very, very true that that we have to begin to love ourselves so we can love someone else. But clean this garbage, and that's the psychic part of me also, is that I will see baggage around people that needs to be cleaned up. People think that they come to closure with it, and they haven't, and it just builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up until the body, because as we read in the Gospels, again, I'm not real religious, but in the Gospels it says, and Jesus says, we are physical beings, we are spiritual beings in a physical body, and the body out eventually. That's why that we become physically sick, if not also emotionally sick, because we stuff all this anger, frustration, hurt down deep inside of us. And my brothers and sisters, please, you need to come to some closure with it. It's not easy. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It's time to get off that back burner, stop thinking about someone else, and start making you the priority. There is nothing wrong with that. It is not vain, not at all. Especially people who are people pleasers. Oh my God, There could be one person. There could be a million people in a room that will treat you like a king or a queen, right? But there will be one damn loser. That loser will be attracted to you and vice versa. And these people, I'm one of them 1,000 years ago, so I know that we think we can save the world. It's called the Annie Sullivan. Annie Sullivan is the one with Helen Keller. And it's called, Annie Sullivan syndrome. We can't save the world. We can't.
No, we can't.
We can start by helping ourselves. We can start.
That's true. And with that, there, like, thank you for the wise words there, Robert. And we're going to probably we'll return back there. We'll come back with a show next year there because there's plenty of other stuff, interesting stuff I'd like to talk to you about there, Robert. Have a happy Halloween. It's Halloween tomorrow, apparently.
Wonderful. I love Halloween. You know what? I don't have to wear a mask. Look at these bags right here. You know, I have more bags under my eyes than a Samsonite company. Anyhow, happy Halloween. Everyone happy be Halloween. Safe. God bless.
And talk to you soon, Robert. Bye.
To everyone. Ciao.